Oklahoma, as much as we want to rag on them, and I know that, yes, they're playing in a weaker conference amongst the Power 5 conferences. The ACC is not much more talented than the Big Ten that we can sit here and knock Clemson for the success that they've had. They have reached 2 college football playoffs, and they have won 2 conference championships in that 5-year window that I have alluded to. They've also had multiple top recruiting classes. I understand the concern potentially for what Brent Venables has for the future of this Oklahoma Sooner program, but I think that what we've got in the past and the groundwork that has been laid for this Oklahoma team, I think that the future is brighter for Oklahoma than it is for Penn State, because we have seen James Franklin bring in these recruiting classes on a year-to-year basis and not produce. So I don't have faith that he's going to suddenly transition and turn in production.
You've never seen Brent Venables do it.
Because he's never been a head coach.
And that's my point. So I'm glad that you brought that up. The only thing that you've seen from Oklahoma and their new head coach is 6-7. It's the only thing that you've seen. You know what I've seen from James Franklin as an example? Winning at Vanderbilt, winning at Penn State, having 2 seasons in the last 4 of 11 wins. Let me tell you why Oklahoma does not deserve to be in your top 10.
Okay.
Name the toughest team they play every year.
Texas.
My point exactly. Now,
who's the toughest team Clemson plays every year?
I think that Clemson, Notre Dame. I mean, they play Notre Dame, 3 of the last 4 years?
Yes, they have.
And technically, they've played them 4 times in the last 3 years, if you want to talk about the COVID year where they played them in the ACC. And they played them in the ACC championship game. So don't say that Clemson doesn't have any teams that they're playing against. And here's the thing about Clemson. Here's the thing about Clemson. If we go off your metric in the last 5 years, okay, if we go off that metric, they won a national title in 2018, and their worst seasons are 11 wins. Okay? They've won national championships, and not only that, are you ready for this? Mm-hmm. They've won playoff games. And not only have they won a playoff games that last 4 years, they went and beat a really good Ohio State team and then faced probably, some would argue, you can have the debates amongst yourself, the best team that college football has ever seen in that 2019 LSU team, right?
Yes.
They've been there. They've won playoff games. They've won their conferences. Joe, Clemson, as an example, has had double-digit wins, 12 straight seasons in a row under Dabo, and everybody's like, oh, he sucks. Oh, he plays in a bad conference. Well, the truth is, and the NFL tells you this every year by their drafting, the ACC has more talent than the Big 12 does. Now, here's the reason why I don't like Oklahoma and yours to debate my number one. They constantly, when they outside of that Ohio State win, okay, but which is not in a 5-year span, I might add.
Yeah.
So when they go out of conference, they get it's not that they just get beat, Joe, they get demolished and up and down the field all the live long day. And I get that it's not necessarily all Brent Venables' fault that they went 6-7. I get that. But here's another thing too that really concerns me about Oklahoma. Joe, you had Lincoln Riley that went to USC, double-digit wins. You had Brian Kelly go to LSU, double-digit wins. Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. You had Marcus Freeman, who I have poo-pooed upon. Joe, he's 1 win away and possibly 2 really bad losses away to having 11 wins. And let's call it what it is. He can get kids, meaning Brent Venables, better kids to Oklahoma than what Notre Dame can because of the academic restrictions. Don't tell me that Oklahoma and Brent Venables gets a pass when we just saw other coaches, and Mel Tucker in 2 years, I might add, even though he had a bad year last year, has also won double-digit games in a really tough conference.
He absolutely gets a pass because we have to look at the fact that compared to all those other coaches, except maybe Brian Kelly.
Pause. Did he have 30 scholarship players when he entered that building?
I said except for maybe Brian Kelly.
So did Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley had 42.
Brent Venables stepped into a situation where all of his top talent jumped ship to go to other programs, especially the guy who just won the Heisman Trophy and one of his top receivers. All that whole roster he stepped into was decimated for a first time, this isn't a new head coach stepping into a program, first time ever as a head coach to take over a program to deal with that in your first year is really, really hard to overcome. But you know what he did? The reason why I feel that there is a very positive outlook for this Oklahoma program, the fact that he went after it in the portal this year and in the 2023 recruiting class to produce a top 5. I don't know where he finished it on 247 Sports. A top 5 recruiting class in 2023 is very significant. And you just said it. He'll have an easier time recruiting Oklahoma.
Them in Oklahoma? I mean, them in Clemson when you have Clemson number 3.
I wasn't. So I was just using them as a qualifier of like, I don't think it's fair I don't think it's 100% fair to knock Oklahoma for the schedule that they've played. I don't think that's totally fair.
And it's not fair to do it to Clemson.
That's what I was trying to point out. I think that our streams got crossed in terms of what we were trying to talk about. I was just trying to bring up that Clemson's really good. I'm high on Clemson. I have them ranked really high. I want to also consider that Oklahoma, despite them playing a weak schedule and a weak conference, that they still have produced competitive, talented, first-round caliber quality teams that they've been able to put out there. The big difference now is that they don't have Lincoln Riley anymore. And one thing of proof that we have is Lincoln Riley does not show up in big games. They got their butts destroyed. That was the worst phrasing to use. They got their asses kicked against Utah in the Pac-12 championship game, and they got their asses kicked in a bowl game against an American Conference team. I think that Lincoln was the problem.
Oh.
Stinking Riley.
Okay.